Hello again, everyone, and welcome to a brand new edition of Zips Weekly with head basketball coach John Groce, brought to you as always by the Wentz Financial Group. Well, the Zips go 1-1 last week, a nice home win over Northern Illinois, then a tough loss down in Athens Saturday night against Ohio. So right now the Zips are 21-6 overall, 13-1 in the Mid-American Conference. Two more games coming up this week, and they're going to be big. Tuesday night at Muncie against Ball State, then home Friday for another nationally televised game against arch rival Kent State. Remember, that'll be a 9 o'clock tip-off on Friday night. Coach, we started this program, I think back in December, the season started. If somebody would have told me we're sitting here with 4 games left, we're 13-1 in the Mid-American Conference, 2-game lead, 4 games to go, I would have been happy with that. What do you think, Coach?
You probably would have taken it,
We would have taken it.
But for us, we don't look at it that way in terms of someone asked me about the streak. I mean, the streak didn't mean that much to me, to be honest with you, and hopefully not to our guys. It was cool from the standpoint of the university getting spotlighted.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before, the athletic department, our program, and I appreciate and respect the consistency in which our guys prepared for each of those games to go 1-0. But the reality of it is you got to play well this time of year. That's my biggest concern as we move forward is how well we're playing. I didn't think we played particularly well in either game this past week. The highlight of the week for me was Freeman, getting the opportunity to honor him on Tuesday against Northern Illinois was really special.
Exactly. Coach, we'll talk about highlights for that Northern Illinois game in a minute, but I thought the halftime presentation was professionally done. It was well done, big crowd. That was a beautiful night.
Oh, it was terrific, and a lot of people involved in that, right? From athletic department personnel to our staff, our support staff, to Bud Wentz and his group that did such a great job. So it was just a great night that really came together. As I said when I spoke to the crowd, for a special human being and special player.
I think he had his cheerleaders there from St. Martin de Porres. He had a lot of fans down from Cleveland. Just a great night for a great young man. Right now, let's go back and pick up highlights from Tuesday night. Northern Illinois is town. Don't look at that record. They're a pretty good basketball team, and they've played a lot of close games lately, Coach.
They have, and played another close one here over this past weekend. I mean, they've been beaten by 10 points or more twice in the last 10-plus games, and both times were by the Zips, 10-10. All their other games have been in single digits. Many of them have been 1, 2, 3 possessions at most. They've been right there. I thought they were really physical on Tuesday night. We got off to a great start, as you know, Joe, in both games, in DeKalb and in Akron, and then they just kept swinging and kept coming back to no surprise. I had told our guys they had operated that way during that entire streak where they had struggled from a win-loss perspective. So I thought our guys responded better in the second half, came out after being down 3 at halftime, and generated some better possessions offensively. I thought our defense was more active. There you see Nate getting the steal, James making a play at the rim, and we were able to, flip it around a little bit in the second half and play a little bit better.
You mentioned, Coach, got off to a good start. I think we went on a 10-0 run early in that game to take a lead, but boy, the Huskies just kept chipping away, and as you said, they had that 3-point lead at the half.
They did, and we knew going into the game, the previous game to this one, they had been down 20 in Muncie and came back and forced overtime. So there's no quit in Northern Illinois. And I really respect that about Rashawn and his team, especially when they go through the stretch they went through where maybe they don't get the results they want. They kept battling. I thought they were really physical and kept playing. Got themselves not only back in the game, but ahead in the game. And then obviously, as we said, we had to respond to that in the second half.
The thing that worried me, Coach, watching that game, and we're going to pick up second half highlights here in a minute, they had 1 or 2 players that can take over a game late that can win it for you.
They do, and Jones and Dent, just 2 terrific offensive players. I thought Quentin Jones was a handful in both games, the one in DeKalb and the one here in Akron. Obviously, he finished with 25-plus in both those games, and Dent was, maybe not quite those numbers, but was double figures in both games. Those 2 guys can really make plays, not only within their offense, but in isolation situations, which is rare because usually that's a low point per possession play. But they were very good in the 2 games and got a lot of respect for the offensive ability of both Jones and Dent.
With all the depth we've got, Coach, we're going to watch the closing minutes here in a moment, but Boy, Shamash Scott really stepped up, hit that three with the shot clock running down. That was huge to win it.
It was, yeah. He's just been absolutely terrific. I don't know, Joe, if there's a better sixth man. I mean, he really plays starters minutes, but in the entire league, he has been, his improvement from year one with us last year to year two has been unbelievable. From efficiency to defending to playmaking to assist to turnover ratio, but most importantly to his mind. I think his mind's in a really good spot right now. He just plays. Guy's open, he passes it to him. He's open, he shoots it. He just plays with a clean, what I call clean heart and clear mind. And so he's played really well for us and been a huge part of this team.
Yeah, we got 3 looks at that three-pointer that won the game for the Zips against Northern Illinois. The thing I always notice, Coach, you got a 10-man rotation. All these guys have been the guy in high school. To come down now to the Division I level and have to come off the bench, that takes a special guy.
It does, and obviously with us right now, we're going 10 deep.
Yeah.
We're playing 10 guys. Typically, most nights, at least 9 of them double-figure minutes, sometimes 10.
Yeah.
And you're right, it takes a heck of a commitment and investment into the whole. And I think those guys, for the most part, have done that all year.
They have. Big win over Northern Illinois. We're going to take a break, come back and watch highlights from that tough loss down at Ohio on Saturday night right after this.
Leaving a legacy starts with surrounding yourself with people who want the best for you and your family. At Wentz Financial Group, we understand that there is not a one-size-fits-all approach to long-term financial success. We value the responsibility and opportunity to manage the hopes and dreams of all our customers at all points in their journey. Start your legacy today with Wentz Financial Group. Wentz Financial Group, investment management for your lifetime.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes E.H. Roberts Heating and Cooling. Find them at ehroberts.com.
Okay, welcome back to Zips Weekly with head basketball coach John Groce. Last week, Coach, we sat here and said the Bobcats would be waiting for us, and they probably played one of their better games of the year. That's a tough place to win at. I think they'd only lost 2 games at home all season long, Toledo and App State. They were good.
They were really good in the game. I thought they were clearly the best team. I thought they deserved to win. I thought they played harder. I thought they played tougher than we did. I thought we were really soft. We didn't play very well, quite frankly. Got what we deserved. And so now we get a chance to respond from that.
Exactly. Let's go back and pick up highlights from the convo on Saturday night, the Zips against the Ohio University Bobcats. And Coach, I think we only had 1 lead in this game. I think it was early at 6-5. I think
that sounds about right. We just, we weren't very good. I mean, we just, we had a couple of loose balls, or one in particular. We had 2 guys not dive on it. I thought our blockouts were really soft. I didn't think we made much of an effort to get on the offensive glass consistently, maybe other than a couple guys. I thought we settled for shots that weren't the ones that we want. We fell for that debate a little bit too much with how Ohio was playing defensively. I did think the one bright spot was our, I say second unit, but they're like starters. Came in to finish the game and close that gap some. And in fact, if it wasn't for a tough call or two, I thought Marvin's shot that he blocked was a big play late in the game. They called that a foul. Just some different things that happened with that. But we really battled. It could have been a lot uglier than what it was due to how well they played and how poorly we played. So, we've obviously got to, like I said earlier before we went to break there, got a chance to respond from this and see what we're made of here as we move forward this week with 2 more games coming.
Did they do anything differently defensively than we saw here at Akron?
Joe, it's tough to Van Gundy always says it's really tough for me to evaluate it, having watched the film, because we just didn't play hard enough. If you don't play hard enough and you're not desperate enough and you're not on edge and you're not physical and you don't do the things that winning requires from a physicality and intensity standpoint, it's hard to evaluate any type of strategy,
You're right.
whether it works or doesn't work. I mean, you can't tell. So I just thought we were really poor in some of those foundational areas. We've typically not been that way. I was disappointed. Obviously, national television game, playing a really good opponent that was picked to win the league by everybody prior to the season. And they showed up, quite frankly, and we didn't show up to the level that we needed to. So that was disappointing, but we've got to learn from it and move on here pretty quickly and make sure that we're ready to go this week with 2 more games coming.
We were down 14 at the half, Coach, but we were down to Toledo by 12 at home and came back and won that one. So I don't think you were – I know you were worried, but you knew we could come back.
We had plenty of time at halftime. I mean, we're so explosive offensively typically that, we can go on runs like crazy. We play a high possession game, and so does Ohio. They're third in the league in number of possessions and how fast they play. We're number 1, and so we knew it was going to be an up-and-down game. We had plenty of opportunities to bridge that gap. We just weren't good enough in the game. So we've got to be a lot better.
Head coach Jeff Bowles, of course, former assistant coach here at Akron, played down at Sandy Valley in Stark County, and you know him well. Good coach.
Yeah, no, he does a good job, man. They've got a good team, and he always does a good job with them. They're always a great challenge.
Yep.
And, so I told him right there at the end, you saw the clip, hey, man, you guys deserve that when you outplayed us. So congratulations. And, it's more than likely, obviously, we've qualified for Cleveland.
Yes.
So, we'll see him up there in Cleveland. Whether we play him or not, who knows? That's all to be determined in these next 2 weeks. But, he's got a good basketball team. They've made a great adjustment with Hadaway being out. They're now playing 4 guards. That would be the one thing I would say strategically, Joe, if you said anything
they went
different.
small.
Yeah, because Hadaway's out, they're now playing a little bit smaller stylistically, and obviously against us, they were really good with that style.
Exactly. We're going to take a break, come back and name our players of the week right after this.
Leaving a legacy starts with surrounding yourself with people who want the best for you and your family. At Wentz Financial Group, we understand that there is not a one-size-fits-all approach to long-term financial success. We value the responsibility and opportunity to manage the hopes and dreams of all our customers at all points in their journey. Start your legacy today with Wentz Financial Group. Wentz Financial Group, investment management for your lifetime.
The amount of experience you can gain from the University of Akron can't be overstated, whether it's designing components, manufacturing parts, and then actually just going and testing and driving a race car. How many people get to say they do that in college,
I've had amazing opportunities here at the University of Akron. I feel surrounded by love, by support. I know that I can be successful here, and that was always my goal. So I know that the people here are here to help me.
Well, each week at this time, we announce our Players of the Week. Our Player of the Week this week is a young man out of Columbus Beechcroft High School, Amani Lyles. And, Coach, you've talked a lot about improvement, bringing players in as young kids, and all of a sudden they're men and they've improved so much. Here's a perfect example, Amani Lyles.
Oh, perfect example, Joe. You nailed it. I mean, the amount of improvement he's made is – I'm really proud of him. It's tremendous. He still needs to be a little more disciplined, but, just 2 years ago, we used to joke around with him that he led the MAC in fouls per minute played. Right. And now here he is playing starters minutes, being super productive, big part of our offense, big part of our defensive grade out. He does it with more discipline. He's fairly consistent in that area. And he's having a heck of a year.
He is.
So he's really improved greatly. Give Dustin Ford, his position coach, the rest of our staff that works with them, our GAs, when he comes in and wants to get extra shots. Amani invests a lot of time in that as well and has become a better shooter. A lot of credit, but also give Amani credit for being willing to be committed to the plan. So, he's a big part of what we do.
One of the reasons I thought he deserved Player of the Week, Coach, he was on the floor against Ohio in the last 4 or 5 minutes, and he did not quit. He played really well, led us in scoring with 17 points.
Yeah, he kept playing. He was a part of that unit that took the deficit from 29 to 17.
That's right.
And again, the officials have a hard job, and we had 3 good ones. We really did with Greg and Chad and Riggsy. So, it's hard. But I thought Marvin's block and a couple of those late ones, we could have got it under 15 and cut it in half in a span of about 6 minutes. So give those guys credit. Amani was a big part of that. That really kept battling and playing till zeros. We always say we're going to play till zeros. And I thought those guys did a good job of that.
I think he plays much bigger than 6'7", Coach. He has the ability to block shots, good timing on that.
He does. He's blocked shots better than I thought he would, quite frankly, coming into the year. He's been really good offensively, creating action for our team. He can play inside and out. You can do some different things with him defensively now as he's learned the system and his habits have become more ingrained. Yeah. He's been really good for us. He's been a real blessing.
Whose stock is rising? We went with Marvin Musami Kamali, young kid out of Cushing Academy out in the East Coast, and he's come on strong for you, Coach. He's kind of your 10th guy, but he brings tremendous energy every time he comes into the game.
He really does. A ton of energy, plays with motor. Obviously, Marvin's a great athlete. Skills continuing to develop from where he was last year to this year. He's taken a jump there, and he works really hard. I anticipate him continuing to take further jumps, if you will. But he's been huge. There's times where we don't feel like maybe we have the necessary energy or vibe, and you're right, Joe. You put him in the game, and all of a sudden that elevates. The physicality elevates. The energy elevates. Your toughness elevates. Your intensity elevates. The talk elevates. And that's every bit as much a skill as being a great shooter.
Exactly.
The fact that you do those things. So, Marvin's also a big part of what we do.
And he is a true student athlete, Coach. He told me what his major was a couple times, and I'll tell you what, I don't know how he gets all of that in. That is an unbelievable workload he has in the classroom.
It's crazy. Neuroscience, psychology. Marvin's a sharp dude.
Yes, he is.
And Marvin cares about the right things, man. He cares about, a lot like Freeman. We mentioned that Tuesday night when I was out there talking about Enrique. He cares about other people at a high level. It's just who he is. He's a servant leader. And then on top of that, his commitment level to being great at whatever it is he's doing. Whether it's practice, whether he's playing in the game, whether it's the classroom, he really strives to be great and has a hunger for that. Similar to some of those qualities that we mentioned relative to Enrique Freeman on Tuesday night.
You're exactly right. Congratulations to those two young men. When we come back, our scouting report this week, we'll go over and talk about the big game Tuesday night against Ball State, and then the renewal of the wagon wheel. Kent State coming to town Friday night for a 9 o'clock tip-off, nationally televised game. If you don't have your tickets, get them now. Should be another huge crowd Friday night. We're coming back with that right after this timeout.
Leaving a legacy starts with surrounding yourself with people who want the best for you and your family. At Wentz Financial Group, we understand that there is not a one-size-fits-all approach to long-term financial success. We value the responsibility and opportunity to manage the hopes and dreams of all our customers at all points in their journey. Start your legacy today with Wentz Financial Group. Wentz Financial Group, investment management for your lifetime.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
Here, let me show you how this works.
it takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes E.H. Roberts Heating and Cooling. Find them at ehroberts.com.
Our scouting report brought to you each week by the Akron Hilton Hotel out in Fair Lawn. They've been with us all season long. Thank you very much for being here, giving us our scouting report each week. And we go to Muncie, Indiana on Tuesday, Coach. Worthen Arena, one of my favorite arenas. You've seen that, I'm sure, since you've been a young basketball player in Indiana. I love that place. And right now, Ball State at 7-7. They are fighting hard to get to Cleveland right now.
They are. Michael does a great job. And I'll tell you what, they played us in here as tough as anybody here at home. I believe it was an 8-point game, and they were super physical. I thought they screened us to death. I thought Sparks was terrific in the paint. And then we got the first time to compete against Jamari Hill.
Yes.
And my gosh, was he fast and explosive. And when he makes threes like he did that night here at the Jar, he's tough to keep in front, doing everything they can with what they run to try to get him downhill. My gosh, was he a load to deal with. So we out-offensed them that night at home.
Yes.
I think we've got to be a little bit better defensively in Muncie and hopefully can get our offense cooking again because we've struggled a bit offensively this past week.
I think we won by 8. I think it was 81-73 when they came here. And I think late in the game, it was a 2-point game.
Yeah, no, it was
7,
a great
8 minutes
game.
ago.
Yeah, I thought it was a great game. I
Yeah.
thought they were really tough that night, physical. I thought they did a great job. And, obviously we were able to make enough plays. Our offense was pretty good that night in a lower possession game. Like you said, we had over 80, and we did some good things on that end. But I think we have to be better defensively in Muncie if we're going to want to try to get the result that we'd all like to get.
Yeah, they got good size, 6'9". I think Mickey Pearson's he's 6'8", too,
Yeah, they're
playing on the
huge
wing.
up front. Sparks, obviously, very similar to the Central Michigan big.
You're right.
The Lithuanian kid. I don't want to mispronounce his name, so that's what I refer to him as. He come on strong for Central. Just a great front court player. Physical, size. Sparks is similar to that. And obviously we know what Sparks is capable of, having coached against him now in 2 different stints that he's been in Muncie.
I'm guessing what Ball State is thinking right now, Coach, if they can get to Cleveland on a neutral court, they can play with anybody.
Well, all these teams can, right? I mean, that's the beauty of March
right.
And conference tournament play and postseason tournament play. So this is not the NBA playoffs where it's best of 7. I've always said that, best of 5 at one point. I think now they're all best of 7, but it's not. So, it's who plays well that day. And so, you just keep trying to take it one day at a time and approach it with a 1-0 mindset. We got to get back to doing that as we head into this week, starting with Ball State.
Exactly. Which brings us to Friday night, 9 o'clock tip-off. Hope to see you there. Kent State coming to town, and how many times we've sat here through the years, Coach, and talked about what I think is the best mid-major rivalry in the country. We're going to do it again on Friday night.
Yeah, no, it'll be a great opportunity, right, for our crowd to show itself well. I know they'll be great. They've been great all year.
Oh, yeah.
And they really, especially here late in the year, have really stepped up. Zips Nation's been awesome. Home court environment's been great. They've certainly been a big part of our home court success. Should be a good one. Kent's playing really well. They just got beat over the weekend in a really tough overtime loss at Miami, but up to that point had not lost since we played them.
You're right.
And they're doing some really good things. I think, the kid Gillespie's really coming on strong. Obviously, we know about Sullinger and Vaughn Cameron Davis. Barnett's had some big games for him.
Yep.
I love Sumlin's toughness. Obviously, Hornbeak gives him an experienced front court player that's played a lot of games in this series. So it'll be a great challenge. This week will be, and we knew that coming in here. This stretch of at Ohio, now we're going to at Ball State, then we got Kent State on Friday night. This was going to be a challenging stretch, and you got to embrace it and use it to make us better for where we want to be at when we approach March.
Yeah, we've seen the same group of players for Kent State for the last 2 or 3 years. Sullinger, he was coming off the bench early, Coach. I saw he played 43 minutes against Miami the other night.
Yeah, no, he's a talented offensive player. As we all know, he's capable. Usually say a guy's capable of getting 20 on you in a certain night if he has that type of skill set, characteristics, and traits. Sullinger's capable of getting you for 30.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he is an unbelievable offensive player that can score it and shoot it at all 3 levels in a one-game setting. And then, of course, Joe, if you foul him and he goes to the line, I think in one game here recently, it's 15 for 15.
Yeah.
So now he's pouring it on there. So you just, you got to do a good job of trying to make him play over the top of you and make him earn everything, and then hope he misses some shots.
Yeah. Yeah, I've talked to a lot of our players, Coach, and they have told me there's really something special about coming out in the court at home against Kent State. The stands are crowded, the adrenaline starts flowing, it's just a fun night.
Yeah, no, it is. But we want to be a program, obviously, where we play hard regardless of who we're playing or where we're playing. But that night certainly gives you another jolt of, juice, so to speak, of where, if you're not excited to play that night, quite frankly, you should try to do something else probably, So it'll be a great challenge.
Exactly. Another reminder, that'll be a 9 o'clock tip-off on Friday night, national TV audience. Get your tickets now. Get out there early, and want to see a lot of blue and gold in the crowd on Friday night. Coach, 1-1 last week. Let's go for 2-0 this week. Come back and talk about it next week. Thanks for watching every week on Zips Weekly. For the coach, I'm Joe Dunn, and always remember, go Zips.
Leaving a legacy starts with surrounding yourself with people.
This has been a presentation from Learfield IMG College.